I have talked about a lot of things so far, but one question still remains unanswered, and this would be, well, how do you actually win this game? And first, this is something that can still be considered to be non-final, so this may change in future. This is in more mature versions of 9 points. However, on the standard board, in a standard game, you have to conquer the target zone. This is to be the only player to have one or more living units inside the target zone for 5 consecutive rounds. While the target zone now is all the positions of the target zone of the entire board. So when a round ends, this is after the last player has finished her turn, you check the target zone. If only one player has one or more living units inside the target zone at that time, then this player is set to occupy the target zone. And if you manage to occupy the target zone for 5 consecutive rounds, congratulations, you have won a game of 9 points. Let me demonstrate this with a few unmarked units. Here, nobody occupies the target zone because, quite simply, no player has any living units inside the target zone. And since we assume that the scenario you see always refers to the scenario at the end of a round, well, in this scenario, red occupies the target zone since there is a red unit on this position of the target zone. So yeah, in this scenario, red occupies the target zone. In this scenario, nobody occupies the target zone. I mean, red has a own living unit on a position of the target zone at the end of the round, but so does green, and since it's not only one player to have own living units inside the target zone at the end of a round, nobody occupies the target zone in this scenario. In this scenario, also nobody occupies the target zone at the end of a round. I mean, there are living units of red, 2 even, inside the target zone at the end of a round, and the green unit has been killed off, but blue snuck one in. So, and since there is more than one players with living units at the end of a round inside the target zone, well, this round goes to nobody. Completely new scenario. Let's say that the order of players is red, green, and blue, and at the end of a round, this is after red, green, blue, after blue's turn, green has a unit, own living unit on a position of the target zone of the board. So in this round, green occupies the target zone. But let's say it's red, green, blue. Okay, so red moves in. It's red's turn. So next round, red moves in. 1, 2. Green moves away, and blue attacks red and kills that unit. Then another round goes to green because it's red, green, blue, red, green, blue, red, green, blue. And at the end of a round, green still is the only player to have own living units on a position of the target zone. So in that particular scenario, first round, second round, so if green can pull it off 3 more rounds, well, green would have won. And just to drive the point home, let's say it's again red, green, blue, red, green, blue. Let's say blue is dead now, and so it's red's turn. Red moves 1, 2, 3, and green is outside the target zone now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then this round, of course, would go to red because at the end of a round, red is the only player to have one or more living units inside the target zone of the board. Again, it matters what's at the end of a round. The scenario at the end of a round after the last player has had her turn counts. And Again, if you manage to occupy the target zone for 5 consecutive rounds, you win the game.